boys and girls. This book is called Deserts. Excuse my attire. I've been hiking with my family today. But we've been studying about desert habitats. Do you remember what a habitat is? A habitat is a place where animals and plants live together. Your habitat is your home right now. Do you have plants and animals at your house? I bet you do. This is called deserts. Dry ground, bright sunshine. It is hot, the sky is clear. It is daytime on the desert. A desert is a place that is very dry. In most deserts, it rains less than 10 inches a year. That's not very much. Now, boys and girls, this is a picture of the whole wide world. Every country, every continent is on this. And on the brown spots right here, it shows you where there are deserts all over the world. Now, this is a picture of the United States of America where we live. And this is Colorado. And look at all the brown right here. All that is deserts that are in North America where we live in the United States. Scientists believe most deserts are a few thousand years old, but some are much older. Where they formed, the climate slowly changed from being cool and wet to warm and dry. Deserts cover 1/5 of the Earth's surface. Most dry, hot deserts are near the equator. This is a line right here that cuts the middle of the Earth in half. It's called the equator. When the sun is high in the sky, the temperature can be well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. When the sun sets, the temperatures drop sharply. It gets colder because there are no clouds to cover and hold the heat on the ground. So it's very, very hot during the day and very, very cold at night. Here's a sandy desert. Here's a rocky desert. Here is a sand dune. Deserts can be sandy or rocky. About 1/5 of all deserts are sandy. Over many years, wind and other elements wore away and broke down rocks into tiny grains of sand. Sandy deserts look different. Some sandy deserts look like rippled water. Isn't that interesting? Wind blows the sand, changing its appearance. Others look uneven and lumpy, like here are these pictures. If something is in the sand's way, sand piles up behind it, kind of like our snow. Snow, well, if something's in the way, we get big snowdrifts. On some sandy deserts, strong winds blow the sand into smooth hills called dunes. Over time, dunes can move. Do you think they get up and walk on their feet? I don't think they do. I think it's just the wind. Here's some more different types of geological features. Here's a butte. This is a mesa. This is a column. These are arches. And this is a canyon. Look, there's water down in this canyon. And here's another picture. Often the rain falls hard and fast in the desert. It will run off and sink into the ground or evaporate, or maybe it will collect in a canyon. There are just a few animals and plants that live in the desert because it's so hot and dry. The ones that do live there have adapted to live without much water. There are many plants that live in the desert called succulents. Maybe you have some succulents in your yard. They take rainwater up through their roots to store in their limbs and stems for use during the hot, dry spells. Now, this cactus right here that looks like its arms are standing up is called a saguaro cactus. This one we know, remember the javelina likes to eat. It's called the prickly pear cactus. This is a Oregon pipe cactus. There's also a barrel cactus, looks big and fat like that one. And then there's the Joshua tree, and that may be a Joshua tree over here. What animal do you think this is right there? Maybe a hawk? Ooh, a rattlesnake. It says beware. There's a tortoise. Ooh, look at this guy right here. Maybe a cougar? Now, what do you notice about that cougar? Where is he? He is underneath a rock. Why would he be under a rock, you think? It's really hot there. Remember we talked about shelter and having a cool place to stay? Well, maybe this cougar is in a cave where it's nice and cool. The snake needs warm and cold, so it'll sun itself on the rocks to get warm, but then it'll go under a rock to stay cool. Hopefully we'll find a jackrabbit here soon. And here's some more pictures of the cacti. Different types of cacti. Well, this is an interesting plant. This is called a yucca plant. We actually actually have yucca plants here in Colorado. Most cactuses have thorns, also called spines. They're very prickly. These protect the plants from hungry animals. They also break up the hot desert wind and shade the branches and stems from the intense sunlight. There's that Seguro cactus. This is a mesquite tree. Now look how deep their roots go. Do you see how deep their roots are going? That's so that they can find water way down deep in the earth. And this is called a buffalo gourd. In some deserts, when it finally does rain, look how beautiful all the flowers. Parts of the desert can be covered in desert flowers. They have grown from seeds that have been flying around in the wind. These seeds grow into plants where they can find just the right amount of rain at the right time of year. Desert flowers bloom for only a short time. Insects drink their nectar from them. Pollination happens when insects spread pollen from one flower to another. This process allows the flowers to make new seeds that drop to the ground, and then those seeds will grow into a flower at another time. Ooh, nighttime is when most of the insects in the deserts come out, because it's cooler then. A starlit sky is clear and the air is cool. The creatures begin to move about. A honeypot ant, right here, and a honeypot ant stores nectar in its body. A pinnacle beetle creeps around the desert floor. A golden wheel spider folds its legs up and then runs cartwheels down the sand dune to escape anything that bothers it. A scorpion is busy hunting for insects and small other animals in the sand. It kills its prey with its stinger in its tail. Here's some other animals. This is a gecko lizard, a fringed toed lizard, a diamondback rattlesnake, a sidewinder rattlesnake, an inland taipan, a Gila monster, and a horned lizard, and a desert tortoise. Some of these animals can be dangerous and some of them aren't. And then look at all these beautiful birds. Look at this bird living in a cactus. I bet that's a Seguro cactus. Those are the ones that get really, really big, that have its arms out like that. This is a Seguro. Here's an elf owl, a turkey vulture, and a roadrunner, and another hawk. All kinds of birds that live in the desert. The roadrunner is a very fast bird. It runs quickly to catch insects, lizards, and snakes. It hardly ever flies, but the roadrunner can run as fast as 23 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. Oh, look at this cute little guy. Remember we talked about the jackrabbit and how its ears stood straight up? Well, jackrabbit's ears can turn from side to side to hear other things coming, but it also can cover its body, and it provides its own shade, kind of like a hat. This is a jerboa, a kangaroo rat, a fennec fox. There's the javelina. And then these are coyotes. Oh, here's some more animals again. Here's a bobcat. We call them cougars or pumas. This is a striped skunk. Better stay away. And then the ground squirrel, a badger. There's an antelope. I don't see the antelope. Harris antelope ground squirrel. Okay. And look here. This is an interesting animal. Not just in America. There are deserts all over the world. And these camels are great animals for the desert. Some people live in deserts. That's interesting, don't you think? Often they live in groups called tribes. Some tribes are nomadic. That means they move from place to place, often carrying and trading goods. They may travel from oasis to oasis. Right here is an oasis. It's a place in the desert where there are trees and plants and water. It's quite interesting and unusual, and people need to find those oases. Desert people live in harsh conditions. Some wear special clothing to protect them from the sun and the sand. Some use camels to get around. Their wide feet allow them to walk over soft desert sand without sinking. Their long eyelashes and thin eyelids, which they can see through even when they're closed, keep sand out of their eyes. They can shut their nostrils too to keep sand out. Camels can go for days without water and food while traveling across the desert sand. Some scientists believe that camels live off the fat stored in their humps on their backs, and they can carry very heavy loads up to 1,000 pounds. Here's a single hump camel and a double hump camel. there's some other things that people will find in the desert that help them to survive in the desert. Deserts have some of the most interesting landscapes in the world. These hot, rocky, and sandy places are home to many plants and animals. Deserts are alive with mystery and beauty. And that is our last book about the desert habitat. If you have more questions, look up some interesting facts on deserts on YouTube. And I hope you enjoyed it. See you later. Bye.